Hello students, this is your Bhushan sir. I hope all is well. Take care of your health during this pandemic situation. Today, we shall understand a topic under environmental biology related to the environmental issues, that is, ozone layer depletion and its effects. The objective of today's study is to understand the effects of ozone layer depletion. The contents of today's study includes introduction to the ozone layer and effects of ozone layer depletion. When we look at our solar system, it consists of many planets, but the life exists only on our mother planet Earth. There are many favorable factors that supports life on Earth. One such factor is the presence of the protective ozone layers surrounding the Earth. This ozone layer protects our Mother Earth from harmful UV radiations that comes from the sun. Thus, the ozone layer is a part of Earth's atmosphere present below the stratosphere that contains high concentration of ozone and protects our Mother Earth from the harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun. So down in the picture, you can see towards the right side various layers of atmosphere of the Earth, and towards left side how exactly the ozone layer has got depleted and the penetration of UV radiation directly seen onto the Earth. Ozone layer is present near about 20 to 35 kilometers above the Earth in the atmosphere. The thickness of it is around 3 millimeters. There is one more planet on the in the solar system, that is the Venus, which also has a thin layer of this ozone layer at about 100 kilometers from its surface. Ozone is a gaseous layer made up of 3 oxygen atoms, hence its chemical formula is O3. The formation of ozone takes place in two-step reaction. In step 1, oxygen molecule breaks down to form oxygen atoms in presence of the sunlight. In step 2, the oxygen molecules joins with the oxygen atom to form O3 or ozone. Students, it was the French physicist Charles Fabry and Henry Buisson in 1913 discovered the ozone. This layer of ozone has the power to absorb 97 to 99% of harmful UV rays that causes damage to the life on the Earth. It may cause the skin diseases, reduces the immune power, etc. Well, the thickness of ozone differs based on the season and even the geographical changes. During spring season, the ozone gets depleted or it gets reduced to a very thin layer. Well, then what is this ozone layer depletion? That is our actual topic of today's discussion. Simply, ozone layer depletion refers to thinning of ozone layer in the atmosphere. It is mainly due to the highly reactive molecules of chlorine and bromine halogens. One chlorine molecule can destroy 100,000 molecules of ozone. Let's see its reaction little later. It is noticed that the destruction of ozone is more quicker than its formation. Hence, these compounds that react readily with ozone and causes the thinning of ozone layer is called ozone-depleting substances, or in simple term it is called ODS. It includes chlorine-based compounds like chlorofluorocarbons, or in short it is called CFCs, carbon tetrachloride, and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, or simply called as HCFCs, then derivatives of methyl chloroform, etc. Then the bromine compounds like halogens, methyl bromide, hydrobromofluorocarbons, that is HBFCs, etc. So down is the picture that depicts how this ozone gets broken to form the oxygen molecules ultimately. Of these two categories of chlorine and bromine, it is CFCs, that is chlorofluorocarbons, are considered as most abundant ODS, that is ozone depleting substances. The reaction is as follows. The chlorofluorocarbons such as CF2Cl2 is a gas in presence of UV rays. It breaks into chlorine atoms, again a gas form, and it also forms the product of CF2Cl. This is also a gas. This nascent chlorine atom, that is Cl, will readily react with ozone, that is O3 gas, and breaks O3 into ClO gas and oxygen molecule. So breakdown of ozone takes place here by the chlorine atoms. Now, a sad situation here is that O3 concentration in the layer of ozone gets reduces. A sad situation again here is this single chlorine atom, that is nascent chlorine atom, will react with the further ozone molecules and causes the breakage of O3, and the chain reaction takes place, depleting the ozone layer. This process of ozone layer depletion was observed by the scientists in the early 1970s and 80s. They found a hole in the ozone layer over the Antarctic areas of South Pole. Down in the picture you can see how exactly this hole is, the image of the hole is recorded by the scientists in 1970s. It was in 1987 Montreal Protocol was proposed to stop the usage of ozone depleting substances and protect the ozone layer of the earth. This Montreal Protocol refers to an agreement made between the nations in order to protect the ozone layer. So, this Montreal Protocol was used to encourage the nations to support for the stoppage or usage of ODS. It was United Nations General Assembly taken a stand and declared the 16th of September of every year is celebrated as or remembered as International Ozone Day for the protection of ozone layer. So, down in the picture, students, you can see towards the left side how the hole is seen on the Antarctic area of the South Pole. Well, students, the researchers have found that there are two types of causative factors that causes the ozone layer depletion. It includes, number one, natural causative factors such as sunspots, stratospheric winds, and volcanic eruptions. Sunspots refers to the temporary regions of the sun surface with the low or reduced temperatures. It is due to change in internal magnetic field influx. At this stage, sun emits more harmful UVB type of radiations that damage the ozone layer. Another natural causative factor of ozone layer depletion is stratospheric winds. Students, when we look at the atmosphere, below the region of stratosphere is the location of ozone. Sometimes these stratospheric winds that are created will cause to reduce the thickness of the ozone layer. It is due to increase of nitrogen oxides that are added to the atmosphere by the human activities. The another causative factor that we find here is volcanic eruptions. Volcanoes emits large amount of aerosols and particles of chlorine and bromine based to the environment that causes the destruction of the ozone layer overall. Major volcanic eruptions includes Chichon in 1983 and another is Mount Pinatubo in 1991. However, these natural causative factors of ozone layer depletion includes only 1 to or contributes to 1 to 2% only. Then what does the rest of 98 to 99% of factors that causes ozone layer depletion? It is due to man-made causative factors or human activities. Excessive use of human made or man-made chemicals of bromine and chlorine are the major causative factors for the depletion of ozone. It includes CFCs or freons from the refrigerators, air coolers and dry cleaners. Then halogens that emerges from fire extinguishers. Then carbon tetrachloride from fire extinguishers and even the solvents. Methyl chloroforms from the adhesives and the aerosols. Then HCFCs, that is hydrofluorocarbons from the cleaners and fire extinguishers. In addition to these, nitrogen compounds, then methyl bromides, etc. are also acts as the causative factors for the depletion of ozone layer. Then, human behaviors such as high frequency usage of cars and other four-wheelers, that is vehicles, also emits the greenhouse gases that causes the depletion of ozone layer. One more major causative factor is unregulated launching of rockets that causes more depletion of ozone layer than CFCs and freons. It is estimated that the effect is more by the end of the year 2050. Above here in this slide, we can find an image where the enormous gases of chlorines and bromides are released during launching of the rockets. Well, students, after we understanding the causative factors of ozone layer depletion, now we shall look into the effects of ozone layer depletion. The major effects listed are as follows. The first is increased level of UV radiations. The major effect of O3 layer depletion is the increase of UV radiations that reaches the earth. It causes severity of health issues for the humans, animals, and even for the plants. Carcinoma is another major health issue upon the exposure to UV rays due to the O3 layer depletion. Carcinoma is a type of skin cancer related to squamous epithelial cells and basal cells of the skin. Excuse me. The UV rays causes DNA to undergo mutation that in turn produces abnormal or wrong proteins that causes cancerous condition in the cells. Students, down in the picture of the slide you can see the basal carcinomal stage of cells. Next is melanoma. It is another form of cancer of skin which is due to the exposure of the skin to UV radiations of type A and B. So down is the picture where we can find the melanoma related to the skin cancers, how stage by stage it enters, and in the extreme right side we can find how the cancer of melanoma be. Then next is ozone layer depletion not only causes different skin cancer types but also causes conditions of ill health like sunburns, that is reddening of the skin, then cataracts in eyes, weakening of immune system, and inducing respiratory difficulties. Down in the slide or excuse me, the pictures to its left side showing the sunburns where reddening of skin happens. To its right side is the cataract seen in the eye of the affected individuals. Next is ozone layer depletion leads to increase the vitamin D production in our skin. It is estimated that too much of vitamin D can cause abnormally high levels of calcium in the blood. When calcium levels increases in the blood of an individual, it affects the bones, tissues and organs. It can lead to high blood pressure, bone loss and kidney damage if it is not treated at early stage. ozone layer depletion also affects the biogeochemical cycles such as carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, etc., due to the increased production of greenhouse gases and global warming. And it is mainly due to UVB type of radiations from the sun. Then, ozone layer depletion affects the marine life such as growth of the planktons, the microscopic plants and animals present in the water bodies are affected by the passage of UV radiations. Thus, planktons reduces in the water body by their number. When there is decrease in the planktons, it disrupts the marine food chain. So, down in the picture you can see how exactly the organisms of one trophic level is dependent on the other trophic levels. That primarily depends on the basic trophic level of food chain, the planktons. Ozone layer depletion also affects life of animals. Effects remain same for all organisms, whether it is animals or human beings. For instance, skin burns when we find in human beings, we take protective measures immediately. But these animals which cannot do so shows the harmful effects in their body system affecting their health. Especially animals that belongs to the polar zones like penguins and polar bears that we see in the images down here. Next is ozone layer depletion affects the crops and the croplands together. Thereby, crop yield is affected, crop quality is also affected, which is mainly due to mutation of DNA or gene in them due to UV irradiations. Down in the picture, we can see how sensitive these plants are. Plants have a particular kind of environment in which it sustains, but due to the UV radiations and ozone layer depletion, when UV radiations directly strike the plants, they tend to lose their normal activities such as photosynthesis, etc., and thereby it causes a reduction in the quality and quantity of the crop yield. So, you can see here in the picture how the clean air would be facilitating good growth of plants towards the left side of the diagram, and in the middle how ozone is affecting the plants, and towards the right side, how exactly the total damage for the crop is seen. In continuation of the same, collapse of food chain occurs more quickly due to the destruction of plants, planktons, animals, etc. This gives an imbalance to the environment, affecting the environment overall. The next is impact on the economy. Again, the collapse in food chain, destruction of plants, animals, likely to reduce the financial status of a place at global level. So, that is about the how the ozone will interfere with the environment and economy. Well, students, how to reduce the problems of this ozone layer depletion and help the future generation then? Here are few solutions listed below. Number one, reduction of CFCs. As we know that CFCs are major factors of ozone layer depletion. CFCs are used in many industries in their production of products like refrigerators, air conditioners, aerosols, sprays, etc. So, the reduction in their usage will definitely be reducing the production of CFCs also. So, when we reduce the refrigerator usage, production of CFCs and their addition to the environment will also be reduced. Thus, we can easily protect the ozone layer. Then, switch from car to public transport to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. Most vehicles use the fluid refrigerants or antifreeze fluids that affects the ozone layer. So, thereby, if we switch on the personal or individual usage of vehicles to the public transportation, that will reduce definitely the greenhouse gases and thereby can facilitate ozone layer formation. Next is limit the transportation networks. The transportation of goods from one place to another makes use of vehicles enormously. If we could reduce the distance of places of manufactured and delivery of products, the vehicle usage will also be reduced there. So, not much of emission of greenhouse gases can be seen if the production of the products and delivery of the products are localized in a very short distance. Sometimes we may even import the goods. So, if we could have in the local area itself the production of goods, we can reduce the usage of long distance vehicles. Then, usage of coal in electricity generation emits CFCs that will affect the ozone layer. So, need of renewable energy resources will help in the reduction of burning of coal here. The next one is stopping of deforestation. It will reduce the global warming and avoid the ozone layer depletion. The next is recycle and reuse of the products. This also helps in the reduction of manufacture industries and their number that will emit the harmful greenhouse gases to the environment that in turn affects the ozone layer. Next is avoidance of excessive usage of fertilizers. This reduces not only the industries but also emission of nitrogen oxides to the atmosphere that will reduce the thinning of ozone layer. Then, avoidance of use of pesticides, especially with the bromide based compounds, also reduces the ozone layer depletion. Then, reduction in the usage of nitrous oxides reduces their manufacturing industries and helps in the restoration or reformation of the ozone layer. The governments maintain the responsibilities to make measures against the ozone layer depletion. It penalizes the industries and people who involve in the ozone layer depletion activities, and it would help in the restoration of ozone layer again. Similarly, educating the people and convincing the society to contribute for the small scale measures on daily basis to take care of the rest of human activities that damages to the ozone layer and save our environment. It includes examples like encouraging the public transportation usage, then buying of local food and food products than craving for the foreign country products, then reuse of the products, recycle of the products, then encouraging growing of plants or afforestation, usage of organic farming to reduce the pesticides in the given agricultural fields. Students, these are all few of the solutions with which we can reduce the further damage that we create to the ozone layer. It is our responsibility to restore the damage that we have created to ozone layer. Today, a hole is restricted only to the South Pole and Antarctica. If it doesn't take care of it now, it would extend to the rest of the parts of the earth and affect the life not only of us, to say the present generation, but also to our future generation. If we really care for our generation, let us join our hands and take an oath in following the measures to restore the damage that we have created to the ozone layer. Here are few MCQs which will help us to understand how well we have understood this session today. Question 1. The main cause of ozone layer depletion and ozone hole is, of the four, halocarbons of refrigerants, propellants, that is the sprayers, foam blowing agents. D is all the above. Answer is D, all the above. Question 2. The ozone layer prevents dash from passing through the Earth's atmosphere. What is prevented by ozone layer? It is UV radiation. Answer is A. Question 3. Ultraviolet rays cause skin cancer, sunburns, cataracts, all the above. Answer is D, all the above. Question 4. The following bans the production of ozone layer depleting chemicals. So, which is the agreement that has taken amidst the nations that bans the ODS? It is the Montreal Protocol. Answer is A. Ozone layer depletion would magnify the production of which of the vitamins here? It is definitely D, vitamin D. Answer C. Sixth question. International Day for the Preservation of Ozone Layer or World Ozone Day is celebrated on which day of every year? 16th of September. So, answer is A. The outcome of today's session is we have understood the effects of ozone layer depletion and solutions to overcome it. References includes book references and web references as given below. Well, students, please post your comments and critiques, queries to my personal WhatsApp number. Take care of your health during this pandemic time. Wish you all a very good day ahead. Thank you all.